Leaders, real life leaders.
You have to know how to communicate as a company or as a church or as any organization. You have to know what your customers want and how you should interact with them. And I think marketing is a huge factor of that.
Welcome to the Real Life Leadership Podcast, where we share real life stories from real life leaders to help you become a better leader in your organization.
So today we are doing something a little bit different that we haven't done before, but today's guest is actually someone from inside our organization. We wanted to cover the topic of marketing and leadership. And honestly, I couldn't think of a better guest to ask come on the show than our Director of Creative Services, Josh Williams. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And as always, we've got the fabulous Heather Rimmick.
Hello, everyone.
Heather.
And this is really different for us because Josh and his team are usually on the other side of the microphone producing and recording this podcast. But not only is Josh super talented on the creative side of things, but he's an excellent leader. And so we're excited to have him on the show today. And some people might think, well, you know, what does marketing have to do with leadership? I thought this was a leadership podcast.
Right.
So let's first talk about that. What do you guys think? How does marketing really tie into leadership?
I think first it's, as a leader, things are constantly changing around you, right? And as a leader, if you're a business owner or if you're a pastor, you want to stay relevant and you want to continue to spread your message to ultimately bring in more people into your company, right? So I think as marketing relates to leadership, you have to know how to communicate as a company or as a church or as any organization. You have to know what your customers want and how you should interact with them. And I think marketing is a huge factor of that.
Well, I think even first than that, because if you don't do any marketing and you don't have the business,
right,
there's no need for leadership.
Exactly.
There's no one to lead.
Exactly.
You have nothing to
Because
lead.
you don't have the business coming in. It's like, okay, well,
Right.
Why do you need any leaders?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was reading it. I actually saw an article that says to be a great marketer, you have to be a great leader first. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important because they really are kind of the same thing. One of the things that we do to be really great leaders is we just are constantly learning and changing and seeing what's new and what can we do to improve. And that's the same thing in marketing. Like, you can't just keep running print ads. The people who are running print ads, well, guess what? They're not in business anymore.
Right.
So you have to continually be changing and evolving in how you're marketing. And I think that's something Josh is really, really great at.
Well, thank you.
Well, the other thing is, it's funny, I don't know why this just came to mind, but a friend of mine had posted a picture and she has a company. And my husband had saw her picture and he said, "Did you see that picture that so-and-so posted?" He said, "I don't think that reflects well on her company." It was a little bit scandalous of a picture. She was kind of in a bikini and it was kind of like a look at me, da 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 da. And he was like, "I don't think she's presenting a professional image for this new company that she's doing." And so it's also, we need to really talk about that as well, that we go, hey, you need to market yourself. How are you dressing? How are you appearing on social media as well?
And also, if you're not building, I know we were talking about branding a little bit, but if you're not building that brand and people don't know what you are, your customers will go online and start talking about you. And if you're not a part of the conversation and really presenting the image of what you actually are, that's just going to look bad on you, as a leader or as a company.
And especially like if you have more of a luxury brand and you're going to try to target a luxury consumer, well, you have to be living a luxury lifestyle yourself, and a professional one at that.
Yeah. Plus, as a leader, you are your brand. So what they're presenting, that's them, and so people perceive, what they're seeing and whether or not it's true. I mean, we all know on social media, people live lives that maybe aren't necessarily what is true, but it's what everyone's seeing. And that is the perception that you're putting out there. So if you are presenting yourself as a leader, whether it's in your company, community, church, whatever it might be, what you are presenting yourself on these platforms is what everyone's perceiving your leadership style to be.
Yeah, and perception is reality, right?
100%.
Basically, especially marketing.
So Let me ask you, what platform should leaders start with when they want to get their biggest bang for their buck? Like, what would you say the platform is that often gets overlooked or underestimated, and which is going to get them the best bang for their buck?
I think first for bang for the buck, I would definitely say Facebook. There are over 2 billion people on Facebook that are active every day. That's a huge audience. More people log in Facebook at night than watch the Super Bowl. So that's a huge audience you can reach. And an easy way to do that is through Facebook lead forms. Basically, you create an ad and you add a form that has their name, phone number, and email. And if you're looking for a way to build an audience or get people on your email list, that is an easiest way to do it.
So one of the things that we did wrong was actually just last year. We had a couple months where we were spending like $40,000 a month on Facebook. Like it was out of control.
It's ridiculous.
And we weren't doing the lead capture. So we didn't know, like we were looking at the ROI, and a lot of times people we'd say, how'd you hear about us? And they would say radio or TV or blah, blah, blah. They would give credit to something else. And then when we went and looked at our return on investment for Facebook, it was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And so we could have just been like, oh, let's just throw the baby out with bathwater. This isn't working. In my opinion, if you want to really be able to get an ROI, you've got to do that lead capture form, because otherwise people will always give the credit, I feel like, to other places besides
where they've
Facebook.
heard your branding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think for Facebook, what's cool is like we're selling real estate, right? So it's a huge purchase. But if you have someone you're trying to get people to come to your store, or if you have like a book you're trying to sell, you can easily do like an offer on Facebook with a lead form. You're like, hey, get 10% at your next visit, fill out this information. And now you have people that you can follow up with easily for your business or for your store, or like I said, adding people to your email list.
And when you're talking about biggest bang for your buck, Josh, talk a little bit about engagement and how that helps you with your performance and how much you're paying for different things.
Right. So one thing about Facebook is if you just post on your business page and you just post there, it's not going to get a lot of likes. Right. Usually, even when you have an engaged audience, Facebook really wants you to put money into the platform, but they reward content that is engaging. So if you are not posing questions, I'll get into this later, but if you're not posing questions or invoking some type of response from people, they're not going to engage, which means your ad is going to perform worse, right? And Facebook is not going to spread it out because people are not interested in what you have to say. So really understanding your customer, what they want, what their needs are, that way you can spread your message more, and that will help the ad to get out there more from engagement.
And so let's talk for a second about leveraging people who say, look, I'm not huge on social media. Should I leverage this out and hire a social media company to do this? Or should I hire someone full-time in-house? What is your opinion on that?
Well, we do both, right? So we have an ad agency that we work with for different things. And then we also have an in-house department, which I'm a part of. So I think it depends on what your budget is. If you can afford to work with an ad agency that has a proven street credit and you're cool with just handing it off to someone else and that can handle it, then awesome, do that. But if you have a lot of needs and you have a lot of stuff that you want to be specialized to for your company, then maybe you should hire someone in person. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It could be, $10 to $15 an hour, or even start off with an intern just to kind of see how it goes. Maybe that would probably be my suggestion, start off with an intern, see how that goes, and then move them up.
Well, the thing is if you think about it, if you hired someone at $15 an hour, let's just say you're paying them about $3,000 a month. Let's say your whole Facebook budget is only $4,000 a month, then it would be better for you to outsource it and use that $4,000 to actually put in ads. Like I know someone who literally had someone, but they were just posting it on their Facebook business page, and you could see they got 1 like, 2 likes. I'm like, you are literally wasting time right now. You're posting it on this business page. You're getting 3 people to look at it, and you're paying someone $4,000 a month to run the ads and make all these crazy, pretty things that nobody's looking at.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, back to your question, though, about what often gets overlooked. I think definitely YouTube is one of those things, because it's basically, I think almost the second largest search engine in the world in a way because it's connected to Google. And when people search for stuff, they're looking on YouTube as well. I know I do. When I'm searching how to do something, I'm on YouTube. If I'm trying to learn something, I'm on YouTube. I feel like a lot of companies are missing out from not utilizing YouTube as much.
Yeah. And the thing is, they've made it so easy that you don't even need we've got 3 video guys on staff, but you don't need 3 full-time people on staff.
You really just need
you
one.
You really could have one, and you can use your own iPhone to be doing so much of the videos.
Yeah.
Let's talk about marketing for just a second, and let's talk about what are some tips just in general for marketing that you feel like we've utilized or that other companies have utilized to make their marketing stand out?
I know one thing we were talking about is the differentiator, like what makes you different from other companies. And I know you have a list of those. So what would you say those are?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we did is we literally went around and we asked each person, what do you like and what do you not like about real estate companies? And then we said, okay, we're going to just ask a bunch of people, what do you like? What do you like? Or what do you not like? Is actually the better
That's the
question.
easier one.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you not like? People, it's like when you go to a restaurant, everyone is always going to complain when they have bad service. But when you have really exceptional service, you rarely tell the manager, right? So when you ask people, if you're looking to create something that makes you different in your business compared to others that do that like you, then ask them those questions. What is it that you don't like? What is it that you wish that you had? And that's what we did. And so we were able to get our key differences, and they were easy to implement. It was things that we all got behind and believed in. And that's what we advertise. So we advertise what makes us different. People want that emotional connection to you.
Because those differentiators are targeting their pain points.
Yes.
So basically, you identify the problem that people have. One of them is that a lot of times agents won't call them back. And so Chantel created that differentiator that we have, a live agent available from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, because that addresses a pain point. So with your marketing, you just don't want to say, hey, I'm great. Hey, we're awesome. But you have to address the pain points that your customers have, and that will move them to action.
Well, there was a rumor going around about me that I have my degree, my master's from Harvard in marketing.
Ooh.
And
That's a good rumor to have.
It's a great rumor, but it's absolutely not true. And I have my degree in mathematics, and I've truthfully never taken a marketing course in my life. But one of the things that people always say is like, man, your company just has such great marketing. And really, the ideas that I have truly come from other companies that are outside of my industry. So the fire me guarantee and the never stuck in a contract actually came out from a carpet company. So I was watching a TV show and I saw a flooring company that said, if we lay down the flooring and you don't absolutely love it, we will rip it up and put new flooring down. And I was like, oh my God, that is real. That made me, as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Right.
And so when I started talking to agents and they were like, well, not agents, but other people. And I said, what do you not like about past real estate companies? And they would say, I feel like I'd be stuck in a long-term contract with an agent for 6 months. They weren't doing anything, but I couldn't do anything. And so if you can literally feel that, right? That's a terrible place to be. I wouldn't want to be stuck with someone who's doing absolutely nothing for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And now I'm literally handcuffed.
Yeah.
That's going to be our next ad. I need you to find an ad. We need to find somebody being handcuffed. Mm-hmm. And that's how you feel. Do you want that feeling of being handcuffed? And you go, no, that's why you need to use Chantel Ray. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly right.
And that's a strong emotional response. This is one of the things I wrote down, is that you have to make people feel emotion. I know something, Chantel, you told me that people respond well to dog posts and baby posts, and I've seen it for myself. And the reason is because it creates emotion. When you see a dog, you're like, oh, the dog is so cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, it's a baby. Oh, it's so cute. Like, that creates an emotional response with you. Think about it. Your favorite movies, they evoke some type of response. Like your favorite TV shows. Like they make you feel something. So when you're doing your marketing, you have to make people feel. Those are like the best, usually our best performing things when either we make people laugh or we make people cry. Those are usually always our best performing posts, whether it's more of an ad or whether it's more of just a fun post. Like it always creates a better response.
Yeah. And, Geico is kind of really known for their funny ads. And that's kind of their thing, right? They go for funny. But their differentiator is that we're going to save you 15% or more on your car insurance. And that's in every single ad. And it's consistency over and over and over again.
And that comes back to my other point, or my next point about some tips, is that you need to have a call to action on every post. Every Geico ad always has that 15 minutes can save you 50% or more on car insurance. It always gives you what they do, their differentiator, and then always has usually their website link for you to go, geico.com.
Well, and I think that it's important to stay consistent, but I also think it's important to change things up in the sense of, I'll give you a perfect example. There's a company here locally that's that Hilltop Pond or Greenbrier Pond. Yeah. I mean, they have TV commercials running all the time. And so they started changing things up, and they were like, at first they were doing everything about like, come in and pawn this and pawn that. And then they started just showing you different ways. Cause I've never been to a pawn shop and I've never bought anything from a pawn shop. But
speak for yourself.
But anyway, but then they started just showing other things. Like they
pretty
showed
pieces of jewelry.
Yeah, they showed like Rolex watches, and they were showing, like you could buy this Rolex watch for $30,000, or you could spend, this amount. But just different ways to look at it. And so sometimes you need to have a consistent message.
Yes.
But you need to start looking at different ways that you can, advertise your business that might not have gone to that core specialty. There might be something else.
Right. If you're using the same way you communicated in 1995, that's not going to be relevant today. Like you can still have the same message, but how you present that message definitely has to change with the times.
But I also think that you have to say, why should I use this company versus the other company? If that message isn't, because like with Geico, they're telling you the reason why you should use us is because we're going to save you 15% or more. That's it.
Yeah. That's ingrained in my head.
but I think they've started talking a little bit about some of their other differences. I know I saw a commercial that talked about just how fast you could get somebody like.
Right. But they've reached a point where they can do that because there's enough awareness of the Geico brand that they can start branching out a little bit more, but you still know their core message is 15 minutes can save you 50% or more on car insurance. If you're just starting out, you need to be consistent, right? So like Chantel, with your message, it was if it has to sell, call Chantel. That's been like the core of what we do in a way, focusing on that message. And so now we can kind of branch out because there's kind of awareness in this area of that.
And I think one of the things that we've done wrong in the sense of, I feel like we have so many differentiators that, we're like,
it can get lost in the sauce.
Just a little bit.
Wait, was it?
Right.
Even like our staff, like if I said to you, Heather, okay, name all of our differentiators, go.
Right. I would say we have a Fire Me guarantee. We have a live agent on duty from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. We have a love it or leave it guarantee, where if you don't like the house you love, in the first month, we'll sell it for free. We have a 90-day or a 33-day listing guarantee.
I mean, there's
the
just
list
so
goes
much.
on.
Right.
$1,000 to the church of your choice. So it's like, it's almost better if you have less. And so if it's too many, you can just get lost in the sauce.
Three.
Three or less.
Because you can remember that, definitely.
Yeah. When you have to have... We have acronyms to try to remember them. That's when you get a little too many.
That's when you go, you just got too many. Keep it simple.
Or if you're trying to do an ad, like if you're marketing something and you have like 3 or 4 call to actions, people are really going to not remember any of them.
Sometimes we're like, click below or email or text or call.
Keep it simple.
Just pick one
call to action.
And I think too, like, I think one great thing you should do is based on what's going on. It's like at Super Bowl time, we always have like a football.
Or you mean the
theme.
big game?
The big game, yes. You always have we run ads and different things geared towards that, like, different things like that. So that's something that you should do. Create your content around what's going on today in today's world too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some other lessons we've learned, like maybe the hard way, like that we've done in our marketing where we were like, this was a bust. Like this did not work out. We either had negative comments, or what would you say some things that we've done that just didn't go well?
Well, some go well. You still get negative comments. Like, so we have our Sing Our Jingle. We did a Sing Our Jingle contest, which we got really great singers. You get some that,
Oh, if you haven't seen that video, go to chantelray.com,
yeah.
Scroll to the bottom, and we'll make sure it's on there as one of the first ones. It's the Sing the Jingle contest, or just Google Sing the Jingle Chantel Ray.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
We had some
so
really
funny.
phenomenal people. It's kind of like American Idol. Like, you had some really phenomenal people. Some people whose moms always told them they could sing, but really they weren't telling them the truth. But people, they'll troll your page and like make
that was a
nasty
big hit.
comments.
I thought that was a hit.
It was, but we had really great people. But then people got mad that we
That they
changed
didn't
our
win?
that they didn't win, or that we changed our jingle. They didn't like us doing it in these different
Oh, I remember
genres.
we got a complaint call because I used to, when my kids were little, we used to use them in everything. 'Cause
yes.
when they're little, they're just so cute. And then as they've gotten older, we just don't use them as much. And literally, we've gotten hate mail like, where are the kids? Bring the kids
Oh, wow.
back. Literally, they were like, why did the kids come out of the commercial? They were way better when the kids were in the commercial.
That's funny.
Yeah, people don't like you changing it either. They do not like you changing your core stuff.
But even recently, we did the jingle thing again, and we didn't get a response. I was dumbfounded. I'm like, we put all this money out there for people to participate, and they just didn't come out.
Yeah.
Like, people commented, but like nobody actually participated. I was surprised.
It wasn't as big of a hit this time.
Yeah.
But I think maybe because it was such a big hit, and then it was kind of...
Since we're
Once you
kind of
hit that
coming up on
climax.
this season, I think we should talk about sometimes the giveaways that we've done. Like, we did this Easter basket giveaway. When we were, giveaways
Smaller.
are great. Giveaways are a way to get a lot of engagement on your page. Wouldn't you say so, Josh?
Yes, I'd say so.
But I will tell you, they are a nightmare.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, especially as you get bigger. When
Yeah.
we were smaller, when we were a smaller team, we gave away Easter baskets. And I still can't even barely make an Easter basket for my kids without like getting, nightmares of the people came from
in flocks.
Or
remember
for
the
these Easter
Thanksgiving.
baskets.
So one of the things you want to do is we said, hey, we want to really appreciate our clients. And so we did like pumpkin pie giveaways at Thanksgiving. Well, we were giving away thousands of pies, thousands and thousands of Easter baskets. Well, we had our entire staff literally in like a chain, right? Like you get the basket, you put the
money in, you get the chocolates.
You get the chocolates, you get this. And
they were
was like
big
a
Easter
conveyor line.
baskets.
Whew. I mean, we spent...
I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Yeah, we spent almost 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I would like go home and I was having like that Easter grass like in my clothes.
Oh,
Yes.
And in my hair. We were like
That's
frantic.
crazy.
They're like,
Yes.
oh, hi, we're here for the Easter basket. I mean, it was out of control.
Yeah.
So people love a giveaway. It's a great way to get people engaged. However,
Give one thing.
One thing. Don't give everybody an
Yeah.
Easter basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another thing is that, one time about a year ago, so we had an Instagram account, but we weren't as active on it. And so our inside sales team came to me and was like, hey, we're not really active on Instagram right now. And then so we actually started posting more. We started putting it in our daily schedule. And we actually discovered that people were actually reaching out to us on the platform, like just sending us a message like, hey, because, audiences are so scattered. Everybody likes their thing. And so like if you're not on different platforms, you're potentially missing out on customers. Because Facebook owns Instagram now, and Instagram already had built a huge audience for themselves. But there are people everywhere that you can be reaching with your message.
So in leadership, we have to be constantly learning, evolving, and the same with marketing. Our marketing team and Josh has to be constantly learning and studying and getting the newest trends and figuring out what's creative and new. And so I think that just constantly being able to be one step ahead and saying, what else is out there, and staying ahead of the curve is the key.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Life Leadership. If you'd like to get the show notes or access more resources, log on to reallifeleaders.com/podcast to get the show notes from this episode and any other resources we might have mentioned. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to review or rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts to help spread the word. And if you have any leadership questions you want answered, email podcast@reallifeleaders.com.